Now the project map is connected. You click on that, and you can also get to it through the engineering department website also. So there's like 12 ways to get to it. So, but once you get to that project website, it's linked to a GIS page where you can go in, and it doesn't have to be in your neighborhood. You can type in your address, or if you're headed somewhere and you're like, what are they doing? And so, like, this is an example. If you click on the street or the color or whatever it is, a box is going to pop up and tell you what the project is. So this one's at Evelyn K. Davis Park. If you see somebody out there working, you're like, what in the heck are they doing? You just click it up, and it's just kind of talking about Parks and Recs Department is planning a repair and rehabilitation of the lights. It gives the contractor, it gives a contact too, a project manager who if you have specific questions about it, you can call or email them. And if you're really interested, it links it to the funding page. So if you really want to know how it's funded, where it's funded, there's a link to also right here, will take you right to the CIP page. So a lot of folks are always wondering, how in the heck are you paying for all this stuff, and where's the money come from? And this kind of links it all back together. So it's a really powerful tool, and when you get in there and you start looking around, there's a lot going on in the city of Des Moines. There's just not only with the stormwater improvements, we have bridge improvements, we have a lot of stuff going on, and it's pretty exciting. So just wanted to kind of touch on that. So it's really a powerful tool. So the biggest project going on in Beaverdale right now is the Closest Creek storm sewer improvements. We currently have bid out the Maquoketa box improvements. Maquoketa Drive is just east of 41st Street and just a little bit south of Beaver. We're replacing an old wooden box that's collapsing in, and so and while we're doing that, we're upsizing and accommodating a lot of the stormwater issues. I don't know if anybody here came to we've had public meetings for both Maquoketa and also 47th and Holcomb. Both of these in red, identified as 1A and 1B. So those are currently, the 47th and Holcomb is currently out on the street, gonna be bid, I think, next week. So we'll be starting construction on those here soon. Once we get a contractor on board, we'll know. But the biggest takeaway from this is the issues that we've had up at 47th and Holcomb. We're gonna get there, and we have a plan. We're executing the plan to get there by 2023. So we have phase 1 and 1B will be under construction this year. We're starting design on 2B and 2A, which is a detention basin just to the west of 41st Street, and also downstream along Whitmer Park, downstream of Beaver Avenue down to 34th Street. So we're gonna be starting on that to start construction on those. So we're trying, now it's a little odd. Everybody says, well, shouldn't you start the stormwater from the downhill to the uphill? But we are jumping ahead to that 1B, which is at basically the top of the hill. And what we're doing up there is we're gonna put a lot of underground storage capacity into that area. So what that does is we have an immediate, instead of waiting 5 years to get the pipe to outlet that area, we're gonna have a underground detention system that will see immediate benefit for that neighborhood. And then one of the charges that the neighbors and everybody said is, well, we've had the 100-year storm, that was but it keeps growing. The 100-year storm keeps getting bigger and bigger. So by putting that underground detention, still designing the pipe at a 100-year storm, adding more detention at 41st Street, and even more detention down at next to Whitmer Pond, we're adding resiliency to that. So it's not just a 100-year storm, it's 110, 120. So adding resiliency was a huge win for not only the folks directly impacted in front of the where the stormwater is in stormwater work is being done, but everybody down all the way down to MLK, all the way back. So it's going to have a huge impact through the entire watershed. So this, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So this is really what the main driver is. So to kind of give you the timeline, the red is going to be under construction this year and probably will go through all of next year. They are that big. And so what will follow is the 2A and 2B. Those are more stream stabilization and stream, more earthwork that can be done over the winter time work. It does not have to be done in the summer. It will be nicer to do it during the summer, but you can work on those types of projects. And then the next leg will be out here from the detention basin at 41st and Beaver, more of the yellow, which is kind of coming up around 44th and Franklin, down Franklin, and then up 48th Street. Basically what we're doing is we're going after to outlet up to 47th and Holcomb. So that's kind of the big picture. That's a lot to take in, and I don't know how many folks have been really keeping up with what the stormwater improvements are just in the closest creek area, but we wanted to kind of give you a heads up. So when you start seeing a lot of construction out and in the neighborhoods, that's kind of what we're doing, so.
So it looks like there's other projects for outer years. What are kind of some of the timeframes for some of those outer year projects?
I don't have that answer right now.
What was the question?
The question is, we talked a lot about phase 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, and 3. What is the plans for everything else you see here, around here? And right now, we are currently funded to get those the 1 through the 3, or I'm sorry, 1 through 4 completed. So now that takes us out to the 5-year plan. Now it'll be, what do we do after that? And so that's going to be the question. Now, if this was the only stormwater project we have going on in the city, I didn't bring those with me. So to give you a good feel for it is when, what was it, 2 years ago, our CIP dollars were around 96 million. This year, we're doing 175. So we've doubled our CIP, and a lot of that's due to stormwater and such, so, and flood mitigation. I'm hoping that comes down at some point to level off a little bit, but there's a lot of stormwater projects going on. Once we get through the sewer separation projects, which that'll really free up a lot of capacity in terms of my staff and also the funding capacities too. So, yes.
Just wondering what's going on at Amick Avenue and 38th Street.
Oh, yeah. The question is what's going on at 38th Street and Amick at the bottom of the hill? What that is that was actually flood damage caused by the June 30th event. And what happened was the water came down the creek there, hopped over, I think either you or Richard knew, was it shoulder high coming across 38th Street? It was about shoulder high. And so what happened they're working on the southeast corner of 38th and Amick, and what happened was the water came over and just toppled all the walls over. So we're just rebuilding all the walls back up, and so that's.
I know it's a massive job.
Yeah, it's if you go over there and look, it's about a 20-foot vertical drop down. So that's kind of what's going on there. So right in the back.
I was curious about around 3500 Urbandale Boulevard, a structure or house was taken out, and it's in a major drainage area there. Was that a city project, or what was that? Who owns that lot now?
Give me a couple minutes afterwards, I'll see. But I actually don't know, because that's,
I know very well.
okay.
If you want to know.
So
let me get
the question is what is the structure at 3500 Urbandale Boulevard.
Right. And this was a friend of mine I went to high school with, so I know the process. What happened was, he built that house probably about 82, 83, and it sat just east of the storm intake from the ravine that goes right down there. And so what had happened was, he made it through about every flood event except last June. That was the one that did him in. He had 3 stories. He had a walkout basement, a first floor living room, and an upstairs bedroom. And it came in 6 feet into his ground floor, wiped out everything. That was his, you know, he had a stone fireplace, his workroom and everything. And so it was absolutely worthless to him. So the city bought it out. They bought the house just to the west of them on Urbandale. And it's city property, it'll stay city property. It will not be anything more than a storm intake from here on out.
Well, related to that, on, just not very far from there, on down the